What is the role of finance? Hi, I'm Justin Lake from Think Numbers, and in today's lecture I'm going to give you an overview of what the role is of finance. Now, I've been working in finance teams for almost 15 years now, and I've worked across a number of different areas, starting from in audit and of having worked in financial accounting, management accounting type roles, and I'm now more in management roles. I've been a finance manager for a few years, and I'm now a financial controller for a major freight business. And really, over that time, I've come across many different areas, and here I'm just trying to give you a bit of an overview of how generally, in practice, how finance teams are broken up. In really looking from a perspective of sort of a small to even medium size, even large organisations, they're all structured in slightly different ways, but the functions are generally broken into a couple of areas. So really, there's really two schools of thoughts around how finance is organised. So first of all, you look at the sort of the financial accounting side, and the financial accounting side is really about looking at the transactional side of the business. It's looking at all the sub-ledger details, all the day-to-day runnings for things like the payables, all the supplies, the collections from customers, looking at the month ends and quarter end closing processes, all the sort of the compliance issues around taxation and reporting to sort of external authorities, looking at hedging the risks through purchasing coverage for FX, looking at accruals, which is looking at what revenue and cost accruals need to be taken up for in order to close the period, various different governance issues, things like managing working capital and major fixed asset or capex purchases. So that's sort of one side, and I've worked quite extensively in that area. And then there's the other school of thought around accounting, which is really around the management side, and it's called the management accounting side. And that form of accounting is more about looking internally within the business. Yes, it does look at transactional, but it's not processing the transactional side of the business. It's more trying to take that information and report it in a meaningful and useful way so that management internally can actually make some use of it. So a lot of the time, management accountants will spend their time preparing budgets and doing the forecasts for the company, and extracting data and making sense of trends to help with making decisions. So decision support is sort of another area. They do a lot of reporting, generally internal management reporting. So I've seen a lot of organisations using quite large reporting packs with lots of graphs, and they sort of showing actuals for the month and actuals year to date versus budget and various different forecasts. So they're usually for executives to sort of usually one or two pages just to help them digest the information. In some organisations, particularly if they're listed on the share markets, they can be quite an extensive pack that needs to be prepared every month. And generally, the management accountants will do a lot of the commentary around, you were expecting a certain revenue target and it was above. What are the reasons why it was above? What are the reasons why it's below? Why is your phone expenses up for the month? Why is your travel up for the month? So they do a lot of analysis and look at making some sense of the numbers so that people from non-finance can really make sense of it. They also do other things like look at investments. So if there's it could be to do with capital expenditure, it could be to do with IT. It really varies from organisation to organisation, but they do spend quite a bit of time building models that will help the management make decisions around whether to go ahead with a major investment or not. And then the other areas are really around planning, which that sort of ties in with the budgeting forecasting process generally, but it can go a bit deeper than that as well. And yeah, generally this side is quite analytical. And I guess across sort of both areas, there is sort of a general, there is another sort of function but it can sort of go across both areas, which is around the sort of systems. So using major ERP systems like SAP or Oracle, again, you can sometimes have some accountants are sort of more on the financial side, but are very super users of SAP or Oracle, or it could be sort of more of a management accountant person, or sometimes it's just an IT person who's more governs the whole system. So really, there's not sort of one organization that uses exactly the same structures and setup, but that's just to give you a bit of an overview of how it works. Anyway, we'll see you in the next lecture.